do, YouTube? Y'all already know what it is, man. It's your favorite damn DJ in the land, DJ LiXxer. And as you guys can see here with this equipment sitting in front of me, I think y'all know what I'm about to get into, man. We about to do a quick but thorough review of the new Mixtrack Pro 6 years later, you guys.
Check it out.
The new Mixtrack Pro was released October of 2010. The price point at the time of the release was $149, which was relatively cheap for a controller that did so much for such a small price. The modern 2 turntables and a mixer setup was a hit for laptop DJs who were looking to take a step further in their careers to becoming mix and scratch DJs, but didn't want to necessarily break the bank for it. The new Mixtrack Pro was released with Serato DJ Intro, but unlike the controllers of today, you also had the option of using Virtual DJ as well as Tractor. This controller was one of the best entry-level controllers at its time, and is still one of the best to this day. Now, let's hop into these specifications. So some of the specifications, as you guys can tell, we have our single USB port right here. We also have our 2 RCA stereo outputs right here. This one is to connect to your speakers. This one is to connect to your booth, which was really cool for a $149 controller at the time. For them, to give us a booth output, I thought was pretty dope. It also has a built-in audio interface with I/O connections, obviously, all that good stuff. All right, in the front here, we have a 6.3 millimeter microphone jack with the volume, so we can get, our tunes cranked all the way up. Sometimes we want to be cranked all the way up, sometimes we don't want to be up at all. You know what I'm saying? That's how we get it done. Also, a 6.3 millimeter headphone jack. Obviously, with this controller, you guys, you are going to have to buy the headphone adapter. But guess what? Every DJ, if you're a DJ, you need to have this anyway. You should probably have like 3 or 4. I kept losing mine all the time. So as you guys saw on the bag, the Mixtrack Pro is USB powered, so there's no need for an external power source, which is something that I absolutely loved about this controller, especially just starting out. Obviously it has your classic 2 turntables and a mixer setup. You obviously got turntable A over here, as well as turntable B over here. All right, you guys. On the Mixtrack, you got your Q gain and Q mix for your headphones, which is something that a lot of people don't understand. This was extremely underrated, I feel like. I loved having the Q gain and the Q mix because I didn't even learn about using monitors until maybe a couple of years ago. So I always was used to mixing in my headphones. This thing got the job done. Okay, you guys. As well, obviously, we got the treble, bass, and mid for both decks. You already know that's standardized DJing stuff, man. Something else that was really nice about this controller, the browse knob. If you didn't want to touch your computer, you didn't have to. You can use this knob here. You had your load A for deck A, you had your load B for turntable B, and you had your back button. So if you were, cycling through your crates, you scan, you hit that button right there, and it'll go into your regular crate, and you hit either load A or load B to put it obviously on deck A or deck B. Something else that obviously shined with the new Mixtrack Pro, you guys, were the effects bank and the cue point bank, which you see right here. You got 3 cue points. You have your first effects knob here, which was basically for effect selection. So you basically go through Serato, check whatever effects that you want, and bam, click it in and it'll load it in there. These are not clickable. However, these did affect the parameters of your effects. Your loop, automatic loop. I know when I had Serato DJ Intro when this came in, so there wasn't any such thing as automatic loops. You had to use this manual button here, which absolutely sucked, and that was actually one of the reasons why I upgraded to Serato DJ. You have your pitch bend. I'm not gonna lie, I probably touched these maybe twice in my life. I didn't really take advantage of the pitch bend like that. Obviously, you have your pitch slider as well. And something that was really nice about this controller, you guys, is that the platters were touch sensitive. So obviously, you know, once you touch them, you get the job done. All right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Alright, you guys, so that was my thorough, quick Numark Mixtrack Pro review. Like I said, I really do love this controller. I bought it when I first started DJing. I'll never get rid of it. Even if I advance, you know, I have my S9 now, I'll probably be using that for like the next probably 7 or 8 years possibly. But even if I advance, I'll always keep this controller, man. It's a part of my story. 6 years later, I still feel like it's one of the best DJing controllers that ever hit the market. One of the pros, like I said, is relatively cheap. It was cheap at the time and it's cheap now. If you're in a tight bond, man, get a Mixtrack Pro. I found it for $60 used on eBay and it could be at your front door. There's nothing wrong with having, you know, some backups. Another pro to this controller, guess what? It's small and it's lightweight, you guys. Like, you see what I'm doing with this? I can't do this with the Reign 62 or even my DJM S9. And I damn sure can't do this with my turntables. You know what I'm saying? Those turntables are heavy as hell and they'll fall apart. For this to be very lightweight, even though it's made out of plastic, it gets the job done. This thing weighs like as if you were carrying a big, large pizza from Hungry Howie's or something. That's how much this weighs. It's lightweight and it doesn't weigh as much. You can take this thing anywhere with you. Also, man, something that I cannot forget, especially being a practicing turntablist, is that Superlight Crossfader, man. You can't go wrong with this crossfader. It's super light. Mine's probably lighter than others because I've used it so much. But with that light crossfader, honestly, you guys have seen. If you wanna get some scratching done, you know, you're not gonna be DJ Jazzy Jeff on here.
Now Peter, Piper, pick peppers, but run rock, rhyme.
You can get the job done. There's nothing wrong with that. Some of the cons of this controller, you guys, obviously, it's 6 years old. It's an older model. Honestly, I'd probably go ahead and buy the Numark Mixtrack Pro 2 or 3 by now. If I probably wouldn't be looking for this controller because they're not even making them anymore. But like I said, it's an older model. If you're in a tight bond and you only got $50 to spend on a DJing controller, go ahead and buy it. Another con, the buttons are very plastic and the whole thing is made out of plastic. It's cheaply made, you guys. Like for $149 at the time, you can't expect to get, you know, a SZ2 or something like that, or even an NS6 back when I was, you know, when I first started DJing. So it's cheap, it's plastic. Obviously, if you drop this down a flight of stairs, which I have never done, it might not make it. So you might not want to do that. You might want to be very careful. As I said at the beginning of my video, I always kept mine in not a CK, so I never had any issues. The other two cons of this controller, obviously, because it's so small and it does have only RCA outputs, the audio, the external output lacks. Like the audio, it lacks. You're gonna need, when I was doing those venues, you guys, with 300 or 400 people, guess what? I had to have an external mixer plugged into this thing because it will not bang, it will not bump. It won't. I mean, it's this big. It doesn't, you know, it has a sound card in it, but it's not the best sound card in the world, and it's also 6 years old. So, you know, obviously technology has advanced. Controllers now, you know, have better sound cards, etc., but the audio output definitely lacks in this thing. Alright, you guys, so thank you so much for checking out my Numark Mixtrack Pro review. 6 years later, like I said, I still love this thing. Even when I'm DJing off my DJM S9 and 2 Technique 1200s at the moment, even when I advance, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now, I'll still have this controller. This controller isn't going anywhere. It's a part of my journey. Even if I don't ever use it again, I'll probably have it like in a, I don't know, in a case on my wall or something. Like, look how far you've come, head ass. But boy, if you don't get, thanks for tuning into the channel, you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little quick review. If you haven't yet, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like this video, you guys. Leave me a comment. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell for those notifications. Make sure you see this pretty ass face every time it comes up on your feed, man. Y'all already know what it is. It's DJ LiXxer. I'm out. Peace.